Hey,
Hi, bro. How are
how are you?
you? Good to see you. Another week.
Awesome, productive week so far.
How has it been at your end? How's Malaysia?
We've already eased up on the MCO.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard of that.
I'm taking the liberty to start working out again. I'm become the longer I stay in this cave, I'm becoming a tapir, bro.
I think we all are. I think we all are. Um, so yeah,
It's
for me,
it's the long-term health effects that kind of. I mean, I used to be a very fit person, if you recall. All right, I used to do a lot of stuff,
you are still.
and and this kind of sedentary lifestyle, it it gets me nervous on certain things, bro.
Mm, mm.
And knowing the nature of COVID-19 itself as well, I think I don't want to get COVID-19 while being an obese uh individual.
First things first, brother Ken. You're not obese. I think you are looking great every week that we have
my
this.
my BMI is about 30, bro. So I'm really overweight.
It's not your
That's
fault.
gonna go for it.
Blame it on the beautiful food in Malaysia.
Yeah.
um, so look, it's been a pretty hectic week for me. As you know, we spoke earlier on in the day. But interestingly, we've got a very unique, I don't know, topic that maybe you could add some thoughts on and things like that. And it was just a reflection and a bit of deep dive thoughts into people, just psychology, people, the best and worst in people, uh, what happens to people when the limits are pushed, um, and also what really triggers people to make really 360-degree decisions, especially when they have committed to something and you have spoken to them and you have asked them, are you okay? And they say, yes, I'm fine. And then 24 hours or 48 hours later, they tell you, look, it's not working out. I want to do something else. It's a dilemma, socially, professionally. And I've been thinking, I mean, where and how, but I realize every country, um, the environment can either throw you off the rails or it can be conducive and support you, right? In Australia, or in Western Australia, or in Perth, where I am at the moment, it's business as usual. You don't have to wear masks. You can go to the restaurant. Um, it's normal, business as usual, like how things were before COVID. But I understand in other parts of the world, and I'm using COVID. I mean, I don't want to bring the mood down, but it COVID is causing a lot of. I just found out a close friend of mine is getting a divorce after what 15 years of marriage. I mean, that's something else, but it's bringing out the best and worst in people. So I don't know, brother Ken. Where do we start with this? How do we address things?
If you recall, I used to speak about the what do you call it, pandemic fatigue, right?
I
So
remember that.
so this is basically, if you look at it from a very macro perspective, right? These are some of the overreaching effects, and again, bro, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a, what do you call it, um, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not, into all this stuff. But then again, I'm from a security practitioner's point of view, right? Now there are many contributing factors. I think because of the society pressure is going on right now. A lot of people are going through that pandemic fatigue phase. People are desperate. There are economic implications, expectations that needs to be met. Some people might even look into, their comfort zone, right? A lot of people are actually living a little bit on the edge right now. And again, the world is a big jungle out there. It's also about the survival of the fittest. And I would say that this is the time where, we are going to see a mass extinction of dinosaurs, bro.
What do you
If,
mean by that? What do you mean by that? That
if people
particular
don't
comment.
change the way they think, if people don't adapt to changes, if people don't anticipate changes, if people refuse to accept the reality of things, all right, they're going to be left behind, far, far behind, bro. We got to change the way we do things. We got to change the way we manage our businesses. We got to manage the way we work. We got to manage expectations, right? And these things don't come easy if your mindset is as solid as a rock, bro.
Mm.
It needs to be fluid. It needs to be very, very adaptable. It needs to be, you need to quickly adapt to changes that can happen overnight, right? As you and I are aware, governments around the world are implementing, policies, right? Emergency decrees, policies, alert levels, they just like change overnight, bro. And this thing needs to be very, very fluid. And people who are working, people who are doing businesses, they need to adapt to these as, as quick as a snap of a finger, bro.
So the key word here that I got from what you've just said is adapt. Adapt to survive, or don't adapt and you fail, or you become an extinct dinosaur, as you've put it just now, right?
Yep.
Obviously, and again, I don't want to go on and on about the pandemic, but the pandemic is the baseline of our discussions. Okay, that's just the bottom line, right? People generally, okay, I'm talking. Let's choose one area for social, the social fabric of people, the best and the worst in people. And this is because, just like I'll take Malaysia for a very current example, where you had your movement control order in place until last week, Friday, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
And things are a bit more relaxed a little bit, and people are going about doing their businesses within the limits of the law, right? But there is a psychological problem. There is a mental health issue, and I'm affected by it. I would say I'm a victim of this stress as well, and not being able to travel for almost a year. Next week on the 11th will
Tell me
be a
about
year
it, bro.
travel. I miss the excitement of going to an airport and traveling, but now going to an airport is like going into North Korea, to be very precise with you, the level of scrutiny and checks and things like that. But anyway, we digress. So I'm coming back to the point here. People, right? People, the best and worst. So it's very sad, and I want to share something very personal with you and the viewers. A very close friend of mine that is is a mentor, or was a mentor to me. I found out about 2 weeks ago that after 15, almost 16 years of marriage, they are going through a divorce. All right. And I dug deep. I dug deep to find out what has happened. And honestly, there was a lot of underlying issues, and I think we covered this before. But the worst in people are brought out when they are cooked up in a property or in a house or whatever it is, right?
It's just human nature, bro. It's just human nature.
Crazy,
I mean,
because But you get married to someone, you go through all this lines of vows and all that sort of thing. But honestly, it is all total rubbish, because at the end of the day, the reality is we're only seeing our partners. I'm talking before pandemic, after work, weekends, and we connect. It worked well for everybody because
And
everybody
now
had
you're
their,
locked. And now you're locked up 24/7 with that person.
you ask yourself, those promises you made to each other at your wedding or the ceremonies or whatever, is that all just a tick in a box to fulfill social demands? It's so confusing. Like, when it's like a rabbit hole. The more you talk, you're going deeper and deeper and deeper. You're never going to come out at the other end. And the reason we need to talk about this is because many people out there, and I think this comes back to our first or second session, which we spoke about, are struggling. And I will say, I talk for myself, the last few weeks, I was struggling as well. And I tried to mix up my days, where there was a point where I didn't even know what was between Monday and a Thursday, or a Tuesday and a Saturday. It seemed all the same, you know.
And time seems to pass very slowly, isn't it?
Okay, for me, like, let's say today, yes, time was moving slowly for me. But other days, I sit here at this desk. I start late. I'm not going to lie about it. I wake up late because I work late. Okay. But when I sit at this desk and I start my day, the day just goes by very fast. But sometimes it goes by very slowly. So, and I got brother Ken, I got to share this with you, right? I really got to share this with you. So last night I was sleeping. I actually didn't know what I was so confused. I didn't know where I was, number one, what day it was. I thought it was Thursday. For some weird reason, I thought it was Thursday. And it took me a while that it's a Sunday, So I really don't know. There's no answer for this, but I just know that we need to manage this, because I think it's got to do with our head.
Yep. I think the best approach, personally for me, right, is to be more self-aware, understand the nature of the mind itself, understanding our needs. And I think we need to also do a little bit more of, some people might call it soul searching. Some people might just, simply use the word or term as introspect. We need to look deeper into ourselves rather than looking outside. This pandemic, some people took it as something bad. To me, it is also something good, right? We get to look deeper into ourselves and to find that inner happiness. Like what you've mentioned about bringing out the best and worst of people, right? Now, we need to look inside ourselves. We need to understand ourselves better. We need to know and explore what are our key strengths, right? We need to understand what are our needs, right? What are they for? What is the objective? We need to understand who we are, all right? I know a lot of people, they have that false sense of satisfaction because of that exterior or external stimulation. Now, you can get that when you don't have a pandemic. You can go to the club, you can go to the bar, you can meet your best friends, your buddies, you can travel, you can fly, you can, have your retreats somewhere elsewhere. But now you are really, really stuck in one location. You can't do much, right? And aside from your career, your job, everyone has got to make their own, bread and butter, right? We need to understand ourselves better, our happiness, our source of happiness. Now, every one of us have that unsettling feeling of unsatisfaction. Okay. Now, you can never be satisfied by just mere external stimulation, bro. Like what you mentioned about all these marriage vows, blah blah blah. It's just for a show, right? You can say I do, but internally, if you're not being honest to yourself, what does I do really mean?
Mm. Yes,
Does that answer your question, bro?
it does. It does, bro. It does. I wrote down something again. I love it when you speak because I get all these ideas and direction, and I've highlighted 2 points.
Why would people want to be married? Is it because of lust, or is it because of love?
Last.
I don't believe in love at first sight, bro. All right, I don't believe in that. And it's not just a matter of belief. It's not just a matter of perception, but that is what I personally am truly convinced. That's my conviction, right? See, now a lot of people, for example, as a guy, right? As a guy, um, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see an attractive person? Wow. Now let me get straight to the point on this. Every man wants to screw a hot woman or someone that fulfills his inner flame, desire, lust. I get very blunt on this, bro, because you can hear all kinds of philosophy, every kind of, sorry, but all the spiritual mumbo jumbo about love, but this is the root cause of why someone is being attached emotionally to another person. And that might not be something that he can get in return, like just like that, bro. So the root cause of that is usually because of that inner need for satisfaction. Okay. I know that some people might not agree with me. Some people might say blah 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 is fated. Sorry, I don't believe in fated, bro. What you do today determines what you get tomorrow or days to come, or in the future, right?
Absolutely.
It's all about here and now. The past is already gone. The future is what you're gonna do now, today, this moment, to determine what happens next. Okay. So all these, um, unrealistic expectations need to be reevaluated, needs to be reassessed, and we ourselves need to determine what exactly are our immediate needs. This is what we really need right now. It's not about 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Everyone, bro, people can just pluck from the sky, I'm gonna have this. But if the circumstances doesn't allow you that to have what you desire in that point of time in the future, it's all just meaningless, bro. It's that here and now that determines it.
Absolutely. I think I'm not. I think you have hit the nail on the head, right there. I picked up some. I picked up something. But what he said.
Yeah.
Desire.
Desire, bro. Desire creates expectations. All right.
Yes.
We desire for fulfillment, for enjoyment, for stimulation of our senses. If I may put it in a very, very biological term, I don't know if that is appropriate to use. It's that need for dopamine, bro. All right. When people feel that they're in love, when people feel that they're happy, that's when the dopamine gets released. And people crave for that.
Yes.
Just like those, I mean, who need that nicotine kick, right? Or beer, or whiskey, or whatever, bro, or sex. Okay. When it hits that point, when dopamine gets released, you feel that sensation, you feel that rush, you feel that satisfaction, and you want more of it. So people in general are just being slaves to that thing that is in the head, that is released by that gland in the head. So yeah, the more we do introspection, the more we look into ourselves, the more we look into our inner selves, we understand what is this thing in this head, that gives us that urge, that need for satisfaction. Okay. Why are we looking for things externally? Because that is where we crave for our senses to be fulfilled.
Yes.
We have all these five senses, right? Touch, smelling, seeing, tasting. So all these senses have that need to be satisfied.
Yes.
Why would you want to be sitting on a comfortable chair when you can be sitting on the floor at the same time? It's a matter of preference, right? Why? Is it because of comfort? Right?
Of course.
Now, if you don't
Yes.
have a chair, do you have any other choice? Would
No, you
you rather
don't.
sit on the grass?
You got no choice. You have to sit, and you got to sit on
So
what's
between sitting on the floor and sitting on the grass, which one gives you more satisfaction?
the
And you go
grass.
back, you go back into your five senses. You go back into that what do you call it? Your achievement, right? Your goal in relaxing yourself, your goal in sitting comfortably. And again, bro, it doesn't last long. That relief is going to be there for a mere few minutes to maybe an hour or so, and then you still you feel that, okay, I'm sitting too long, I got to move.
Yes.
Because the nature of the mind itself is as such, bro. It is always changing. It is always, that's why with this pandemic thing, we need to adapt to what it is right now. You want to be happy, you got to adapt. You got to just, make the best out of it. So whether it brings out the best or the worst of people, it is ultimately your choice, your decision. This part you can cut, bro. I got a lot of messages coming in now.
I'll just stop it right now.
All right, bro. Done.
Okay, bro. I'm sure the viewers want to hear this. Dopamine. Can we buy it?
Yep, you can. You can. There are synthetic ones. There are natural ones, but I don't think this would be the best platform for me to
No, not at all.
to
It
to
was just a
dwell.
question. It's just a question. I just wanted to ask this question because I'm sure everybody wants to have that continuous satisfaction of feeling. So is it a drug? Is dopamine a type of drug that is created by our glands?
Yep, it's biologically available.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. I just want to touch on a few things that I found very, very interesting that you have mentioned and really, really completely makes a lot of sense. Fulfillment, all right, the here and now, and generally about, I think you mentioned about something about, and I think it was a good example about the sitting arrangement, whether you sit on the chair or you sit on the grass and the choice that you have. So
It's
now
just metaphoric. That part is just metaphoric, right?
correct. But you see, this is what we're facing nowadays.
Pandemic, post-pandemic.
But this is what we're facing nowadays. We
Yep.
we are craving for that chair, but we're sitting on the floor. You know what I mean? And I mean, people people are social animals. We are all social animals. We crave or we feed off other people, and that's how we become who we are. All right.
And again, why are we social animals? Is it because of the nature of people themselves, or is it because of individual preferences?
Okay, so I read this article and I just want to bring it to your attention. What makes a person an alpha male? Okay, what makes a person an alpha male? All right, I'm just going off my memory of what I've read, so just bear with me. All right, it says that you are comfortable doing things alone. That's number one. You are not chasing that that rubber stamp from people, all right, to approve whatever you're doing. And I would say the third point, just going off my memory once again, is that you call it like it is, and you're firm with your convictions and things like that, right? Not many people are alpha, men and women, all right. I think
Yeah,
majority of the population they need that endorsement. They need that 10 freaking posts on Facebook, letting the whole world knows what they're doing. You know, that shows again, I come back to the best and worst in people. That demonstrates a lot of social insecurity. What are your thoughts on that?
people being people, bro. People being people is like what Forrest Gump said. You know, my mama used to say, "Life is it's a box of chocolates," right? Okay, so people being people, you have different personality types. If you're familiar with the Myers-Briggs personality types, you know, MBTI, Myers-Briggs, I can't recall what's the T and I now while we're on the record. So you can look up on
look it up.
Myers-Briggs.
I will look it up right now. I'm in
So
front
there
of my.
are many different personalities to that, right? And each of these different personalities have their preferences. It's just that ingrained nature in people, bro. All right. You look into that box of chocolates, you have strawberry, you have toffee, you have almond, you have whatever, right?
Yes.
Now that is what human personality types are. Okay. Now, if we are gonna explore that, I think we'll have to take a whole different call for that, bro. It's a very, very deep subject.
It's quite heavy. And I agree with you. I think that's something that we can discuss differently. But I think
On a separate note, since you mentioned alpha male, you might want to also explore the sigma male, SIGMA.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about my career in security, we study about profiling, bro. We study body language, we study personality types. Now, how is this related to my career? We employ these techniques for different roles. Okay, we use these techniques in profiling so that we can do assessments, threat assessments, risk assessments. We can use it for what do you call it? Um, um, there are some things I cannot be mentioning on record, bro.
No, that's fine. Just keep it general. You know.
Being general about this, yeah, we have to study about personality types, you know, in order to enable profiling so that we can understand the nature of the threat even better. And it
Yes.
also helps in investigation. Right, you want to investigate, you need to do a lot of research on a personality on the background of an individual, on the trends, on their preferences, stuff like that. How you can get clues, tips, whatever. I mean, just to break a case, for example.
Yeah.
Profiling has been used in the airports. You're quite
Yes.
familiar with the airport environment. Yep. I was an aviation security officer.
Yeah.
And this was one of the first few kinds of trainings that I've received in the security world. Right? It's a very interesting thing, and there's always something new about, profiling. It's a very interesting subject, bro. You learn about cultures, you learn about body language, you learn about psychology, you learn about, demography, all this kind of stuff. It's a whole, what do you call it? Curriculum on its own.
Interesting. That's very, very interesting. And again, the key point here is personality traits, and profiles. Can we say, and just coming back to the core topic, the best and worst in people, can we say that subconsciously, all right, we're going into a bit of science here, subconsciously, we are attracted to people who actually share the same profile and the same type of, the word is chemistry. So both male and female friends, what makes up our social fabric, who we choose as a partner, and what affects the outcome of that relationship. Because I've even seen friendships go astray. I'm a victim of that as well. And I know, I'm sure you are a man of very, very few words, and you choose your pieces of friends like how you would play chess, very strategically. So am I right to say this, or are we missing the point here?
Well, it's a very subjective manner. It's a very subjective topic. Okay. In general, yes, what you have described there in finding similarities in others, that is a bit more on how social cohesion works. You want to have a group of people with the same ideology, cause, objective, values, vision, mission, blah, blah, blah. Right? Now, I would go into also the upbringing of a person. There are
true.
people who can be social chameleons. Right? In the security world, these are the kind of people that can just, if you go into subject matters like espionage, the 007 world of spies and cloak and dagger, right? These people can just blend in like a chameleon, bro. It's not about personality types. It's not about their preferences over, similarities between them, right? It's about achieving a certain objective.
Yes.
And a lot of these are quite momentary. It can be, a very specific period that these people can get along because of certain needs that needs to be fulfilled.
Interesting.
Right. But again, bro, like I said, if you want to go into this topic, it has to be in another call, bro.
It's another day. It's something else.
Something you can pick up later on.
I have to share this with you and the viewers since you brought this topic up. All right. So before we, I'll just, it's a touch and go. All right. So this is the weekend Australian magazine that I get with my newspaper. And there is an article here which I will share with you separately offline. It's by a gentleman by the name of Jack Beaumont. All right, Jack Beaumont. So Jack Beaumont was working for the French DGSE, all right, which is like intelligence, the French intelligence service and things like that. He's written a book, a tell-all, a very honest tell-all, and I want to share this with you separately later on. So anyway, that's interesting. I think that should be our next topic. Something got to do with intelligence and a bit of, wow.
That's what I've actually researched on for my master's thesis, bro.
Yes. Wow, that's amazing.
I did a study on intelligence-based investigation, IBI. I've picked that topic up from a white paper that was published by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission.
I see. Interesting.
So this is actually one of the methods of investigation, the use of intelligence or espionage in methods of. Sorry, bro, I'm a bit lost of focus here. Yeah.
Information gathering. Okay, so let's come back to the point that we started. We've got about a couple of minutes left to conclude this segment for today. The last point here, which I'm struggling to understand, and maybe you can shed some light, the triggers that make a person switch from A to B overnight. You see,
bro, I cut you there. It's not something that happens overnight. It's not right? Something that happens overnight, right? Obviously, that switch is basically that breaking point. Things would have accumulated over some time. You would have built up over some time, either through emotional pressure or peer pressure or society pressure, bro. When I say pressure, of course, there's also other factors that contributes to that pressure, right? Expectations, gains, losses, needs, wants, priorities, you name it, bro.
That's very, very interesting.
Something that is very, most definitely premeditated. Given the time that that person would have been employed with the company for some time, he or she would have probably had a lot of reflections, a lot of thoughts that would have been going through his mind for some time. And we need to look into things like, why was this not addressed earlier? Why were these things not being brought up to the appropriate stakeholders? And was this person being pressured to be just a yes man all this time? So there are many, many factors that contributes to someone just flipping, 24 hours.
Interesting.
I resigned from my job in 24 hours before.
Have you?
Right? Not on one occasion, but 2 occasions. So, bro, I'm sharing with you that this is something that is not from a hypothetical perspective, but something that I have also personally experienced and done. It is a breaking point. People just had enough, or should I say in their capacity to put up to that kind of pressure. So it's actually worth speaking to that person who flipped 24 hours to find out the root cause of it, bro. If you're familiar with risk assessments, how assessments are being done, you might want to look into root cause analysis. You might want to check out the Ishikawa diagram, the fishbone diagram. You can do a bit of mind mapping. These are some of the things that can actually be tools or more effective. These can be very, very effective tools in how you mitigate future problems from happening again.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Again, Brother Ken, we have come to the end of our session.
Yay!
Right? We have learned a lot in this session. I want to say thank you very much And again, looking forward to catching up with you again next week at the probably same time.
Take care,
And
bro. Stay safe. Stay
yeah,
productive.
you too have a good weekend. Be productive
Likewise,
and
brother.
let's chase the dopamine. Let's chase the dopamine.
Let's go for the dopamine, bro.
Take it easy. See you, mate. Bye for now.
Okay, man. Bye.
Bye.